What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with
Kendra Jennison.
And how are you doing today besides looking dressed up today?
You guys, I'm actually wearing normal clothes, so automatically people think I dressed up. Even the kids were like, Mom, why are you
got some new shoes?
No, I've had these for literal years.
Oh, okay.
They're just in the closet.
Yeah, is that a new dress?
It's not.
Oh.
It's also been in my closet.
I didn't know that they had the kind of clothes.
I do. I have a whole closet full of super nice clothes, and no one would ever know because every day I wear gym clothes.
The same gym clothes. Not the same ones, but just like you got a rotation.
I do.
Nobody has a rotation like me.
Black, or black.
Nah, I added some white ones this week.
Or olive green.
Olive green, and I think like an orange or something.
You did. You stepped your game up.
But I've been struggling to wear them, so I'm sticking with the black.
That's how I run. That's how I run too. I'm like, oh gosh, you know what? I should wear this really adorable outfit. Typically last minute I change my mind and I'm just like, yeah, but the old trusty workout clothes never fail. But I told myself, not today. Not today.
Yeah, I like to wear just the same shit because it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Obviously.
All
right, so today I just got done doing a podcast and we were talking about, well, it was with Josiah Novak, True Transformation. So we're on there for a little bit. I was talking to his VIP group. Don't know, about 35, 40 people or so on there. And he brought up the truth. So a couple weeks ago, he was having issues with his company. Not issues, but he was just struggling with his guys and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about his marketing. And I said, listen, bro, just tell the truth.
Yeah.
Just tell the truth. So that's what I want to talk about today. Like, it's been a long time, I think, since we talked about stop fucking lying.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we ever have.
I don't know if we ever have.
So yeah, I mean, that's the whole code that we live by.
Yep.
But I want to talk about that inside of the relationship, but ultimately also inside of like how you do it and how I live by it, because I think we can get like the cohesiveness of us and then the Kendra and the Mark. And I'm just going to start off in full stop fucking lying fashion. I mean, we net profit $250 last month.
Yep.
And so far this month, I blew through like 200,000 cash out of my pocket. We're not winning this month.
Yep.
And I told you this morning, like I got out of the shower and I'm like, hey, I need to go to work. Not that I haven't been working, but like I've got some shit happening. Things are unwinding for whatever reason. I can't quite do. I'm doing everything the same. I've done everything the same, but hey, I need to go to work. It's going to require some long hours. It's going to require me. I'm stressed out, but I need you to know this.
Yep.
How'd that feel for you? Because nothing like, then we talked about the spiritual warfare, and the quickest way to fuck me up is to, you said, mess with my money, but it's with my family and my money.
I know. Yeah.
Those are the two things.
I think I've mentioned this before a few times. For you and I, for our dynamic, because I am just so naively positive and calm about almost everything, that when you tell me, in our relationship, I should say specifically, like not just in life in general, kind of in life in general, but specifically in our relationship, I just have like this feeling everything is going to work out no matter what.
It is.
And I know that and I feel that. So even when you tell me things, and I know you're stressed about it, and I know it's part of the business, and I know we have ebbs and flows that come and go, I just always know that it's going to work out, that you're going to figure it out no matter what. And I'm going to do whatever I can do to help you figure that out, whatever I need to do for you. We're just like a powerhouse team that it's going to be fine.
I've already figured it out.
Yeah.
Within 20
minutes.
I didn't fit. Yeah. It took about real simple. I came down here, we were going to film. Mm-hmm. Ryan could tell that I was like bothered. Mm-hmm. He asked what's up. I said, here's kind of things. Like, let's not make these content right now. I said, cool, I'm going to take this time. I went upstairs to my upstairs office. I sat down. I locked in on a prayer stack and just all the ideas started flowing. I came back down, got a marker for the whiteboard, cleaned it all up, whiteboarded out what I need to do, set a call with Kevin on what I need to do, and I clearly know what I need to do. And there's always just one thing that fixes every single problem that we ever have, which is action.
I was going to say action.
Just action, right? But what's interesting is that there's different levels of action. But I'll talk about that. Maybe we won't. I want to talk about why it was important for me to tell you. Like, the truth is this. The fact that I told you that is because it actually made me nervous. It's very rare. I don't hide things from you. But when I tell you for me to come to you and tell you that today, I'm like, I need her to know because this one's got me stressed out.
Yeah.
Right? Like Stripe trying to not send me my money. I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, if you fucking cut off my oxygen, I can't breathe.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, we didn't do anything wrong. We've done everything fucking right. Now what?
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I can try to hide it or I can let her know now so she watches me go through this. So we're actually doing it together.
And that's what we did.
That was my feeling. So we're in it right now. But I know dudes will never just open up like that to their wives. And it's not just about.
It's probably for multitude of reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their wife already doesn't trust them to make financial decisions because he's let them down before. It's an ego thing. So a lot of guys just want to be like, oh no, I'm fine, instead of being open and honest and saying, we're gonna have to cut back, we're gonna have to make some changes. You know, being is so vulnerable and so honest about it is scary. It's an ego thing, I think, a lot of the time. Those are probably the two main reasons. Scared. It is scary to have to open up to your significant other about, damn.
You know what's more scary? Like, is actually having to face the fact that you might lose everything and she didn't know it.
100%.
Okay, I found this on the web for actually having to face effect. Check it out.
That's on Ryan's.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't know if you guys were able to pick that up, but we just had some background noise.
Siri came on. Siri came on the computer.
There's gonna be some Siri in this thing, so we'll keep going. We keep talking. You try to figure that out because we're in the flow. But what's more scary is a man trying to hide everything and keep it together. Now, the reason that I told that to you, by no means we're going to miss it. Like, I've got two guys that I'm closing for a half minute. Like, we're going to probably turn this, or I'm going to turn it around and fix everything. But what I needed you to understand is that I have to shift the intensity and the focus in the way that I work to solve this. Not that I wasn't working enough, but I'm being called to a higher fucking level. Mm-hmm. And that higher level is going to require me to spend a little more time at the company.
And I think that's a really important piece too. And not that I have ever or would ever, because of the nature of your business, requires you to be involved in all portions. I knew that when we got together 6 years ago. So you working is something that I have never said do less of. Not ever, nor would I ever. But you keeping me informed on everything that's going on in your business, our business allows when you fill me in, then I'm like, okay, one, what can I do to help you? Two, okay, like I can say to you, you need to do whatever you need to do. Like, I got the house, I got the kids, I got everything else. You do what you have to do. You know, so it's really just a powerhouse move when we're able to communicate what's going on and, hey, I'm going to have to start working a little bit longer hours, or I'm going to have to be more involved in such things. It's like, all right, hey, cool. Thank you for letting me know. You do what you have to do. If you need me, I will help you any way that I can. And I will handle what I have to handle. Because
in my mind, I immediately go back to, okay, here's worst case scenario.
Sure.
What's worst case scenario? I let everybody go and I start over. Like, we'll always be okay because I'm ultra high ticket and like I've got these things, but I'm like, okay, what does that do for my team? What does that do for the people around me? I don't want to let them down. Go ahead and sneeze.
No,
go ahead, just achoo. But what does it do for the people around me, right? Like what? And I feel this fucking anger, yet this calmness at the same time.
Sure. And I know, just speaking about like our position right now where we're at with the business and growing things and trying new things and just kind of how crazy it is right now. I'm able to be your peacemaker when you fill me in on these things. I'm not sitting here stressing you out. I'm not adding to your stress. It's like, so when you tell me, it's like, okay, holy cow, I know that you have more pressures on your plate than I will never understand the magnitude of. I don't ever think that I will. I'm grateful that I don't have to. I'm not built like you. And when I know that there's a lot and the weight of the world is on your shoulders, that puts me in a different position as your spouse to be like, okay, this is what I have to be for him. Because when I'm calm and I'm peaceful and I have like this, like I said, calmness about me when you come home, that allows you to fucking breathe. That allows you to be like, okay, I can come home now. Kendra knows the truth about everything. She's helping me. So that way, you know, it's like this is our dynamic for our business. If you came home and you didn't tell me and you were stressed and I was like, well, what the hell is your problem? And blah, 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 blah. You're not, like, I would never do that anyways, but you know what I'm saying? That's a reality for a lot of people. But you keeping me informed allows me to say, okay, I just need to let him do what he needs to do to figure out what he needs to figure out. I need to be this for him because I know that if I just am adding more unneeded stress into his life, that it's not going to freaking help our life. Yep. So what do I need to be for you? What do I need to do for you, for us?
And in the position, like when you're talking, what controls that is my ability to communicate the truth.
Yes. Every time.
I put down my pride, my ego, because I realize this inside of my house, inside of my kingdom and my castle, it's a place where I can be vulnerable and open and I don't hide anything from you.
And I think one of the greatest parts about our relationship is, yes, in true SFL fashion, we've been that way from the beginning. And you being able to share all of your vulnerability with me in every single sense and everything, money, childhood traumas, whatever it is, I've never used it against you. Right? So not once if we're having a bad month.
If anything, we don't use it. You've never used it against me, but we've used it as assets and weapons to propel us forward.
Right. But I've never like shamed you or made you feel less than or tried to emasculate you because of these things. If anything, I've tried to build you up. I've tried to reassure you, which are things that I am really great at, I feel like. But that all comes down to stop fucking lying. When you're open and honest with me and you continuously share your vulnerabilities, then as your wife, as like the feminine part in our like relationship, then I can do my job the best that I can do my job. And you can do your job the best you do your job.
So you did a great job explaining, or we've done a good job talking about what that means inside of the relationship. It's real simple. And I think it starts with the man, telling the truth and being open, vulnerable, and honest to what's going on. Specifically when it starts with their productivity and their profits at their work or at their business, right? Because I think dudes don't want people to know because we've got this weird feeling that someone's going to find out that we don't really have it all together, or that almost like our fortress is being fucking broke down, sure. Right? Like our walls are being breached. At home, there is no walls, right? So we've done a good job talking about what that feels like in the relationship. Now, from the woman's standpoint, what is stop fucking lying? Like the first time you heard that, what did you...
I was like, whoa, this is really intense. Okay, so I was like...
I want, like, try to like explain what it means to a woman. I want to hear it.
I mean, the first time I heard that...
Fuck, I guess a guy can listen to it too, doesn't
it? just in like my perspective of it, when I first heard it, I was like, holy shit, this is like a really intense... and then automatically I was like, whoa, what? Stop fucking lying about what? Like, what am I lying about? You know? And then, of course, you know, you explore and you do soul searching and you have like this spiritual growth. So... obviously, stop fucking lying. In its obvious form is like I'm not lying in the relationship to us about anything. Like I just don't have to. I don't have, we just don't. And then a little bit deeper is I don't lie to myself.
That's what I want you to talk about.
Yeah. So that was my biggest like revelation when I was learning and exploring everything about SFL. And it's just... So
there's two, I just want to explain to the listeners. There's two types of lies that I focus on inside of the comeback.
Yep.
Lies of commission, which are flat out lies. Like, did you eat that cake? No. Oh, you ate the fucking cake, right? Yeah. I watched you eat the cake. Or the lies of omission are the things that you don't, that you do to yourself, right? You lie about yourself. So go ahead.
Yep. And so even for the biggest thing is only I know my truth. Only I know when I'm doing what I say I'm going to be doing. So I do it. It's like a subconscious thing. Now it's just so ingrained into me, which I'm very proud of. Even when I'm in the gym and I'm training for my triathlon and I'm crushing it. Even yesterday when I was riding on the bike, and I'm taking like a quick little break because I'm like pedaling my freaking little legs off. And in my head, I'm saying, in my head is like, you can still give more. Like you're not even fucking trying to your full potential, Kendra. So to me, in my head, I'm like, okay, I need to stop fucking lying about how hard I'm actually training. Like I need to go fucking harder, right? Because only I know how hard I can push myself. And so that's just a little example. But even in everything that I do,
It's a little example, but it's crystal clear
it's crystal clear.
to everything that man or woman listens and needs to hear. Go ahead.
And so when I'm, and when I'm training for, or whatever I'm doing, only I know my truth. Only I know if I'm freaking lying to myself or not. And so when you can like charge that head on, and you can just become so raw and authentic in the truth all the fucking time, there's like such great power in that. Because even when I can look at myself at the end of my training session, and I can look at myself in the mirror, instead of being like, oh, you showed up and you worked out and you did a great job.
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
When I can look at myself in the mirror at the end of my workout and say, you didn't even fucking try today. You know what? Showing up wasn't good enough. You want to win first place in your triathlon for your age group? You need to fucking go harder. Only I know that's my truth.
Right.
And so just living in that expectation of, okay, I need to stop fucking lying. It's not comfortable by any means, but it's exciting.
How does it work in your parenting?
I tell our kids the truth about everything. Even when
But I'm going to bring up, so this is where the lies, can I give you my perspective?
Yeah, please.
So you often are so hard on yourself.
I'm so hard on myself when it comes to parenting. All the
I
time.
don't want these kids to have technology. I want them to eat twigs and berries off the ground and run around in diapers. Right? No, you don't really say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like you want.
I like to explain to people that I truly want to raise my kids.
But it's not even about how you raise them. It's the expectations that you have on yourself for how you're raising them.
Yeah.
Like you put such a high stand. Like you've done this since I've met you.
Yeah.
Right. And then it just gets, as we get more freedom and more space and the kids get older, you get harder and harder and harder and harder on yourself. And I would say we go through every 3 months or so, 3-4 months, where there's like a moment when you're like questioning, am I a good mom?
Oh, I like am like on the verge of breaking down to you.
Yes. It's like, it's at the bit like, oh, I'm fucking up. And I have to remind you, like, look, like from the top down, Phoenix is straight A student, handsome, clean, athletic, best at basketball. Jade, creative as hell, smart, funny, sassy, healthy, eats good, doesn't lie, happy, right? Bailey, lunatic. But,
She is a little free spirit.
But she's a free spirit. I mean, but they're all thriving and everything. And then I have to go down to break it to the physical. I'm like, we let our kids have 1 hour of tech time on their phone.
Mm-hmm. And even I freak myself out. I'm like, that's too much. Like, I don't know. I just feel like if there's one thing.
I don't know this to be true, but it's the guide. Stop fucking lying for men, women out there is a guide. It's a code.
Yeah.
It's just the guide. It's those intrusive thoughts that come in that tell you should do something or you shouldn't do something. We have them 24 hours a day. That voice that is going on, you either listen to it or you control, or it controls you or you control it. And stop fucking lying is it. And what happens for you in the area in your life, obviously you're training, I know, but that's, I think, what active fit people do. You always want more, but where it gets you and bites you in the ass sometimes, and we have to unwind it with love, is like, you're fucking incredible.
Yeah.
You're an incredible mom. Like, I don't even need to say that as your husband. As a matter of fact, I can't remember her name. Maybe you remember her name. Mrs. Kyle, I think, from the coffee shop where we first met and started having dates.
I didn't even know who she was.
Didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
And she's like, she saw us date one time and she just obviously liked me. And she's like, she's a wonderful, wonderful mother. You should see her with those girls. Yeah. Like that was like when we first started dating.
Yeah.
And the reason that I chose you, or ultimately now what my journeys and God and my prayer stacks are saying is you actually chose me and misleading me, but that's a whole nother story. But the reason that I submitted to the possibility and the vulnerability that I could trust you, and with my son, which was it's our son now,
yeah.
but at that moment, he is everything to me, was because I knew you would take care of him.
Yep.
So when you get into these things and that voice tells you, oh man, too much technology or money.
Yeah.
These fucking kids, you say they're spoiled.
I do.
By whose principles? Honestly,
yeah.
People with less spoil them more than we do. I guarantee it.
I know. I know.
We are so hard on them.
I'm very hard on the kids. Like my expectation of, and I think that's just what it boils down to. I know that I get such a limited amount of time with the kids, from baby until, I don't know. They could live with me forever if they want to, but you know what I mean?
That's the new plan.
I just know that I get such a limited amount of time where I get to spend seriously like intimate quality time where they want to also spend time with me. And so I make quite literally every waking moment making sure that it counts. That's why I'm so adamant about not having a nanny, it's like, no. And I know it's affected
but having
our life.
a nanny let us have lunch yesterday, and like,
I know, and I know it's affected.
It's a tough time for me.
And I know it's affected, like, in some sense, our relationship, because I am so like, oh no, we can just bring the kids with. Like, they're fun. They're at a great age. They're 13, 10, and 8. Our kids are quite literally awesome. There's not one time I don't enjoy spending time with them. And I know you're the same, but it does sometimes get to, you're like, no, Kendra, just hire a nanny. And I'm like, I don't want, and I didn't need, that's what I would tell myself. I don't need one. Like I can do everything. I don't need somebody coming in and spending 8 hours or X amount of hours with our kids because I want to do that. I can do that. I do have a nanny now.
So, but that voice in there, right? Is it the want, or is it the inner voice lying to you, telling you that you shouldn't?
You know, it's,
and there's no wrong answer.
Yeah, and I don't think I have an answer because I still go back and forth. Some days when Mary is at the house, I'm just so grateful, and I know that the kids absolutely love and adore her, and she spends so much fun with them. So in one way, I look at it and I'm like, in one way, I'm like, okay, this is great. Like our kids are trusting this other adult. They're trusting themselves in the decisions that I've taught them so far as their mother. Like I know they're making good choices. And then on the other end, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking myself out. Even yesterday at lunch, I had to remind myself, like, you don't have to rush home to the kids. Like, enjoy the lunch, take your time. Your kids are fine. Because sometimes I'll lie to myself and I'll be like, okay, oh my God, she's already been with the kids for 5 hours. Like those are 5 hours I could have been with my kids because I only really get my kids until they're about 16 because then they're only going to want to be with their friends and blah, blah, blah. Like it's a never ending, like.
But it's an interesting thing that I wanted to share with you is that the vision that you had for your kids is actually happening by you letting go and allowing her.
It is.
Phoenix was even out there.
They were all building forts yesterday in the woods with Mary.
His cousins, they're there. They're doing what you wanted to do. So, and then you were also just talking about how you told yourself to enjoy your lunch, which is a lie because that dude was slurping.
Oh my gosh, this is not great.
There was a table behind us where this cat was just slurping.
Oh my God,
like
I heard
nonstop.
Him eat all his noodles. This is terrible.
So that's another story. That's another podcast. Don't slurp, no matter how successful you are. But I want to talk about, we've been going for about 25 minutes. Stop fucking lying to me. Like I take it to a whole new level.
Yes, you do.
I've realized that here these past couple weeks. And it seems like the further and further, I had a moment where I was stacking this morning and I came out and I'm like, am I being too hard on myself all of a sudden? Am I actually doing the work? Am I going too far in that's actually fucking me up? But it's not, right? Because there's nothing externally that is slowing me down. There's nothing that I did that put us here. I hate to say that because that sounds like a complete, like I'm not taking ownership of it.
Right.
I mean, I guess, yeah, there's a couple moves that I made, but like I had a process in place and things were done that have worked over time that broke down. So yes, I have my hand in there, but there was no like paying people too much money, getting drunk and making poor decisions. Like I've been on task, on focus, on hand, and things got difficult for me. But I look at recently here, the way that Stop Fucking Lying is becoming a code for me is that I've been walking around with this version. And it's interesting because there's a version of myself that's been held hostage for so long because I didn't want people to think I'm absolutely nuts and a lunatic. But they already did think I'm nuts and a lunatic. So the only person that was in this stop fucking lying place was me. I wasn't fully letting them see who I could be or what I want or these thoughts that I have. And I shared my stack with you yesterday and you said the word madness, right? Well, I looked at it, I'm like, dude, madness is actually a gift.
That's what I said to you.
Right. Like it's actually a true gift to be able to say and to think and to act and to be who I am.
Yep.
And to start actually bringing the conversation of there's something bigger. I've hinted around, I sniffed around on it, kind of talked about like there's something bigger here. Something chose me, right? Like a real pussy. I did it. But no, I couldn't be more certain right now that I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But everything is being done through me by something larger.
Yep.
Not one thing in my fucking world. My skills are my skills. Sales, marketing, speaking. Yes, that's me. But when it comes to the creation, I've found this. In order for me to have it all, I have to let go of it all. And I was holding on to everything.
Yep.
And I was lying about it. And what I found is every time I'd hold on to something, every time I'd try to let go of something, I'm like, oh, that felt good. And then there's more, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. And I had to submit to the legit feeling and being that I'm not in control. And that's been very difficult for me.
Do you feel more liberated now in true SFL fashion, or is it still new and kind of scary for you?
So I was just telling you, there's a calmness and a stillness and a peace that you can feel around me. Like I'm ready for a state of war that I've never possessed. But there's another side of me that is frightened and worried, but it's not as loud.
Yep.
So we could talk about a lot of things. I hedge on the alliance, yesterday, expansion. And goes back to what you said. Like, do I have work to do? Absolutely. Do I know I need to get up every day and need to go to battle and fucking slice some motherfuckers' heads off? Absolutely. Right? That I need to fight. Now more than ever, I fully believe I'm fighting a spiritual evil. That I was called to fight this thing. I have no, I wouldn't even talk to you. This is the version I was holding back. For years, I'd walk that field.
Yep.
Waiting for me to be able to tell you that I'm connected to God in some sort of way, and I don't know why.
Yep.
Until now you flipped it to where you're starting to ask, and maybe you don't even know it, not about God, but about spirituality. It's turning into a conversation, which has given me this peace and this freedom and absolute knowing that we're going to have kingdom riches far beyond our means, not just monetarily, but just in everything that we're creating.
Yep.
And it was like I was waiting for you in your physical realm to show up, yet I clearly knew your soul was begging to come out. But there was a version of me that didn't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was kind of lost for a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to talk about God too much because, I know she's got some issues from the war and her brother and her dad. So I literally would I love her so much, I'm not going to speak my full truth. I'm going to think about it all day, but I'm not going to just do it because I don't want to lose her.
Yep.
And I think I did the right move. I think it was the right move. Not that you would have lost you or whatever, but I allowed you to flourish.
Yeah. I think if you would have kept pushing it when I wasn't ready to hear it, I would have closed off the idea entirely.
Yep.
And I know that about myself, where I'm just kind of stubborn in that sense. Like, quit fucking pushing this on me. You already know how I feel about it. End of story. And you've presented it.
I've never pushed anything on you.
Nothing.
But I've never stopped pursuing soul level connection through expansion of our souls.
Yep. And you've always presented it in multiple different ways. Like, you would have this conversation and you would kind of present it this way, and then I think you would always know, like, if I cut the conversation kind of short, you would know, okay, maybe not that avenue. And then we would learn and we would grow, and then you'd kind of go down this avenue and you'd be like, okay, this one she's open to.
I've known something about you the whole time that I can't explain, that you don't even know about yourself yet. I know it, but I don't know what it is. It's not been revealed to me, but I've felt it since day one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, cool. All right, God, we're rolling.
Yep.
I just won't talk too much about
God,
who I am. Maybe she hasn't woke up yet. She hasn't, that's the word, right? We talk about expansion, but you're having your own awakening on your time.
Exactly. And it needed to be on my own time. Otherwise I was never going to accept it. I was never going to be able to even accept you in the way that you speak. I truly believe that.
My speaking has changed in the past 12 days more than it's ever changed.
And I'm obsessed with it.
Because I'm finally being me. I've noticed this. A rushed Mark that has to manufacture the motivation, which I used to be able to do really, really great. Not manufacture, it was me. I was like, yeah, fucking over the top.
Still is you,
I can
yeah.
still do it. But that is not what I crave when I get on anymore. Now I want to try the different pitches, tones, variety of it. But in Stop Fucking Lying fashion, which is just the code, I knew I couldn't be me because I didn't want to lose us, because I knew us together was stronger than I could ever be alone.
Sure. I believe that too.
Right. And some guys will be, or did actually, and I used to, these thoughts used to come in like, well, someone will, I always like back it up with, like, but you know what? Fuck off.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing in me. I even wrote in my thing, people are going to say you have a God complex, Mark, you're a narcissist, you're this, you're that. That's coming, right? It's just going to come down the way. But I thought a lot about it. Like, I don't know the things I know, but everything that I say, not everything, almost everything I say makes sense in a spiritual fucking world.
Yep.
Where did that come from? Because I barely passed English.
That's true.
Right?
When we have like deep, intimate, like spiritual connection, just really open-minded conversations, like we are both just like flojo, you know what I mean? And we're just like, sucking in each other's energies and our words, and we're just like mind-blowing each other. And then we will go and we'll try to order at a restaurant, and Mark is like, ba-deep. I'm like, spit it out, Mark.
Yeah, I'm the worst at that. Culver's, I'll have 3 double cheeseburgers. So I wanted to give my phrase on him, and that kind of went down a spiritual realm, which is majority of my conversations are going. It's hard for me right now to not have a conversation connected to spirituality right now.
But what's so cool is in true SFL fashion is it's going to look a little different for everybody. And as long as you are continuously remaining true to your most authentic self, which for you right now is a lot of spirituality. It's a lot of exploration in that.
Did you say spirituality?
Spirituality. It's true for you. It's going to be a little bit different for somebody else. And if they explore this path, great. But only you know if you're being truthful or not to yourself, to your training, to your business, to your wife, to your kids, to whatever the fuck it is. Only you know the truth. So in true SFL fashion, only you will ever know.
I used to, when I drank, it's interesting. I just had a thought. You have lots of thoughts. I just had a thought though. I used to say when I was drinking, if you can't be honest with yourself, who can you be honest with? Right? Like you've probably heard that
Sure.
millions of times, but it was such a surface level thing to be saying in a time when I was full of lies.
Yeah.
Yet somewhere inside, there was like this knowing and understanding that I'm a liar, but I didn't want to admit that I'm a liar. So I was telling myself myself the truth, but I knew I wasn't telling myself the truth because that was the way of me saying you're a fucking liar.
Yeah.
You lie about everything. Now I don't lie. I'd rather not talk ever again than tell a lie.
It's really fucked up because this like whole SFL way of living, which I'm obsessed with and I love and I'll never change it, but where it gets really hard is when I'm trying to buy you something for your birthday and you're like, oh, what are you looking at? And I'm just like, nothing, something for your birthday. I can't lie to you, so please stop asking me questions about it.
You've only done like 1 or 2 little white lies to me. But where it gets hard for me is because I live by it so much that when I make a change in my mind that impacts somebody else, they use it against me.
Oh yeah. I think we did a podcast episode where I said
like
this.
I'm not allowed to change my mind.
Yeah. I hate that for people to like use that against you.
You know how much I can't say trauma, how much just pain, pressure, financial loss, sleepless nights of just like trying to live my life in pure essence of being honest with myself. And like in that, I was stacking about it this morning. Why do I put myself in these positions where then I feel so bad I can't unwind them?
Yeah.
And the only way for you to unwind is to chop their head and start over. And I'd rather have to cut somebody completely than to tell them, hey, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Right?
It just seems like the way of the world, not all the time, but sometimes where it's like, okay, Mark has been presented, anybody can be presented with new information, and bringing up a conversation to somebody where you're just like, hey, you know what? I'm actually seeing things a little differently now, whatever. And then for somebody to turn around and be like, oh, well, you said this before and now you want to change your mind. What the F and blah, blah, blah. It's just like,
then
dude.
they have little fucking.
So I agree with you in the sense that it's easier just to cut their head off, how you so eloquently put it, and wipe your hands of it and be clean. Like, can't even mess with this because they're not at the mental capacity to understand that I've been presented with new information.
Yep.
See you later. It was a real Papa Jojo thing.
All right, we've been going for 37 minutes. You got to go get Phoenix.
I do.
Stop fucking lying is not a catchphrase. It is a code that a man or a woman could live by. I think if you can insert that into your relationship, and it's different than me saying, just tell me the truth.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Just tell me the truth. Just be honest. Just be honest with yourself.
You can't
Kendra.
be honest with me. Who can you be honest with,
Right.
Kendra?
Just be honest. Look at that person in the mirror. See, she's looking back. She's beautiful. She's smiling. Just be honest with her. Tell her you didn't do enough reps today. Now, fuck you.
Yeah.
Stop fucking lying.
Yeah.
It just hits different.
It does.
Fucking pussy.
I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, oh my God, this is like really intense. Like I said, I was like, oh my God, what am I lying about? Like,
You know what happens sometimes is I will go into these fits of pure truth inside of the gym where I start swearing at myself.
it's spitting. And everybody's just like,
Like, oh, this guy might be a lunatic. So, all right, that's it for today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. We will see you next week. Kendra, this was great. I love you. I'll see you in bed.
that's funny.